Okay, let's say we have a little animation of a bird, but it's in black and white. What if we wanted to color this? Well, you saw all the trouble I went through. You can create new layers. I did it in advance, but you could do it as you go. Trim them down to the length of time you want, put them in video groups, and you're pretty much good to go. Now there is another much more dangerous method. If you go to layer and go to video layers, new blank video layer, you'll get one of these guys. Notice the little video layer icon on here. Now what this will do is allow you to, essentially every frame will have a new, how can I put this? It will be every step in time that we move forward will be a new frame inside of this, similar to how this video group is, but with much less control. It's actually very dangerous for students to use this in this particular assignment because it's really hard to go back and edit. So if you don't know what you're doing, or for example, you're just learning what you're doing, and you make a mistake, it can be so hard to fix it. And I've seen so many students just have to go back and start over because they used one of these video layers. Video groups are fine. They're great. They're amazing. They allow you to put everything together and stretch and squash stuff. These video groups are very dangerous. So let's say that we came in here and we have maybe a beak color and a feather color. So notice we've got, if I turn this group off, we've just got this blob, right? If we move forward a frame though, it disappears. In fact, we can move forward to any frame, add a smidge of color, and you'll see that the other frames don't have anything. This allows us to very quickly go in and start editing things. So the question immediately becomes, neat, what if I need to make adjustments to the timeline and that sort of stuff? Well, you can try some tricks. For example, split it, and then that will break it up. So you do in fact have it, but then you'd have to split it on, well, just about everything in order to break it apart. And this is what people frequently have to do when it comes time to edit things. You're just sitting there and splitting all these frames. Now that said, it may be worth it for you, but keep in mind you can't just haphazardly adjust things on it. You do have to go in and do the adjustments yourself through things like split. So let me show you how I would handle this. And again, be very careful. It's so easy to make a mistake and have to do just everything again. So because of the size and shape of this bird, I'm going to add the beak. Whoa, add the beak last. I'm just not going to worry about it. Go in and I'm going to just do the body. Now, if my if my timeline shortcuts were working, this would be a lot easier. I could just hit the next button and fly back. But what I'm going to do is this: advance, get the body, advanced, advance, get the body, etc., 12 times over. If I get bored, maybe I'll start from the other end and move in a little bit. And that's a little squishy, so I'll come back to that one in a moment. Whoa. Oh, I keep missing. Okay, so that's all the body. Now let's get the wings. So it's going to need a smaller brush. I'm just going to use my bracket key to shrink that down. And really I only need to get, for most of it, one wing and the tail feather. So let's just do that. Wing, tail feather. Guess what animation takes a lot of? Patience. So you can see, honestly, this assignment doesn't have to take you a super long time. I've seen some students get through it in like an hour and a half and be happy with the results. But for the more ambitious students, this thing can take 6-7 hours, depending on what you're up to. And if you go back to video, the very first intro video on this one, you can see some of the student work that I've saved over the years. You can see that it can take a long time just to draw everything out. Now on the first demo I did, I had already cut out the snail and the fish prior to doing anything. And I already had all of those free images downloaded from Pixabay in advance. So even though just the process of clipping things up and then adding them to a timeline and editing it can take, maybe an hour or so, the whole process of getting everything together could also take a little while. That fish mask, for example, I think it took me about 20 minutes to mask the fish out correctly. And we saw the snail mask when I initially created the snail. That took also around 20 minutes. So just those two things alone, you're looking at 40 minutes of time in preparation. So do watch out for that. Now, sometimes students will get married to an idea early on as to what they want to do for an animation. And then as they get into it, they'll realize that maybe they don't want to do that as much as they thought they did because it takes a lot longer. And that's fine. You don't have to be married to an idea just as you start. Go ahead and explore a bit. See if there's something that you feel is interesting that you want to explore, and then maybe explore that. However, starting with an idea of what you want can help as well. All right, let's go ahead and paint in that beak. So let me go back. Oops. Oh, by the way, good time to save. And go forward a little bit and paint in the beak. And now I do this 12 times. Next time you see a cartoon on TV, remember the work you put into this assignment and really appreciate the artistry and craftsmanship in animation. I believe it's one of the greatest arts. Whoops, whoops, oops, Control D. My hand is not on the home keys there. Yellow forward. It's not liking me very much. Control D to deselect. Get my brush and save. What happened here? Where's my brush? I don't think I'm where I think I need to be. Let me undo a couple of times. Aha, yeah, for some reason I have black and white instead of the color I need. All right. Let's grab that color again. And we'll just repeat that process. And their entire degrees in animation, and their entire class is just in animation as well. So you know that there is a lot to learn. Let me select that, paint that in. Okay, how does this look? Let me zoom back out. There we have it. We have a colorful bird. But keep in mind, if I realized I needed another frame and had to put something in, I'd be in a pickle because of this video layer. So I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to just go ahead and slice this up and toss it in a video group. So I'm going to select it and cut it and cut it and cut it and cut it. And now is a good time as any. Going to select both of these for the flyout, make a new video group. Does not want to go in my new video group. Let's go over here. There we go. There we go. Just do it from my layer menu instead of my timeline. I think I can just cut it from within the video group now. Yeah, and I don't have to move anything. So there we have it. By doing it this way, I have access to the individual frames so I can do edits individually. I know this seems like a pain now, but honestly, if you have to do a single instance of an edit, you'd have to do all this anyway. And so I think it's better to come in here and do these adjustments as needed. Why is it having a sticky time with this last frame? Let's see. Just extend out this a bit. For some reason, it doesn't want to cut it. Let's do a split at playhead, and it doesn't like that idea. So instead, what are we going to do? We'll do a split at, and it's because it's the last frame. It's having problems understanding it. This is a glitch on this version of Photoshop. We're going to do a cut here, work area. No, it won't let me do that because it's a video clip. So we may be stuck with this last one being frozen. Let me think for a second. The workaround that I would recommend for this specific instance, I'm going to extend this out a lot, and I need this to be outside of the video group for a second. I mean, all these videos, outside of all the video groups, come on. Here we go. Put it between them so that I can get to it. Wow, it does not want to stretch. Okay. Now, isn't that interesting? If I stretch it, you can see that each frame still exists wherever it was. So I don't think it's going to split. I think on this version of Photoshop, it's trapped forever. So keep that in mind. Be careful. Like I said, these are tricky to work with. How would I approach this from here? Probably, honestly, I would turn everything else off, duplicate that layer at that point with Control-Alt-Shift-E so that I have a new layer specifically for that point, and then push it back into the video group just so that I can have it split. And let me show you what that would look like. All right, turn off that, turn off this, and Control-Alt-Shift-E. It has a normal duplicate. And I need the other one, Control-Alt-Shift-E. Now I've got two duplicates. Although they're freakishly huge and they're in the wrong direction. This is how I would deal with it. Those last two are just going away. Again, these video layers, they don't always behave the way that they should. So be careful. And you can see, like already, something's a little bit off. And I probably moved something that I shouldn't have. And so now that is my life. And there's not really much I can do about it. Maybe it's just that they're out of sync. I think that is the case. I think that this one goes over here. And let's see. This one comes over here. Maybe here. Yeah, they're out of sync somewhere. There we go. So yeah, those video layers, unlike the video group, and you create the video group by going to the flyout and doing a new video group. Video groups are amazing, and I would recommend using them all the time. Video layers are very tricky and dangerous, and I would be exceedingly careful about doing them. So be careful about that. There's one more thing I need to show you all, and that's how to split things up to create the illusion of foreground and background. I will do that on the next video. All right. In other words, that's how the new video layer works. My recommendation for this particular project is don't use it. Supposedly you can convert these to a standard layer and even the flyout. I frequently don't have that. Make frames from clips. Yeah, frequently that doesn't work. It tried. But yeah, it frequently have problems with video layers. I strongly advise using caution if you're going to use them. All right, let's take a look at how to create the illusion of foreground and background. See you next video.